You're watching Less Than Epic's coverage of the Overwatch League. Enjoy the show.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to week number 2. First off, sorry for not dropping power rankings this week. Kinky left for vacation, and we had a little miscommunication between him and I think it was mostly my fault, but anyway, he'll be back with more of that stuff next week. Moving on, I'd like to again thank everyone who went out and voted in the poll, and want to remind everyone that there is a link in the description below where you can vote for week 3. Looking at last week, you all did amazing and are in a 3-way tie up top. Meanwhile, I am a game behind. And oh well. On to week 2, and I apologize as pretty much all the votes this week are the same. There just wasn't a lot of good games. But before we start, I have one piece of trivia for you all. In all of American professional sports, of which Overwatch League is now considered one, who is the team with the longest losing record? Answer: the Shanghai Dragons. Yep. They have claimed the longest losing streak ever in American pro sports. The Cleveland Browns are trying to catch up, I hear, since they're currently at 21. For those of you who care, and I won't make this long, I promise, the longest streaks from some popular pro sports: NFL, 26 games by the Tampa Bay Bucks in 76 and 77. MLB, 26 games by Louisville in 1889. And NBA was 28 games by the Philadelphia 76ers in 2014 through 2016. But enough about sports ball, and on to Overwatch League. First up this week, we see Boston taking on Dallas, and would you believe me if I told you Dallas was ahead of Boston in the stage standings? Yeah, it's pretty gross, but we all took Boston this week to win, and we all know Dallas isn't playing all that well right now, and we all thought they were going to drop a game to Shanghai, but they made sure that didn't happen. However, Dallas shouldn't be able to touch this top tier Boston team, who is still number 2 in the overall rankings. Next up, in what should be an easy match, we have Florida taking on Valiant. And without a surprise, we all picked the Valiant to win. Florida dropped 7 maps last week and only won 1. Yes, it was against 2 top teams, but still, they only won 1 map out of 8. Meanwhile, the Valiant took down Seoul. Look for Valiant to walk away with a W here. And in the third spot this week, we have Houston and the Gladiators. And our first and only split decision. We have Kinky taking Gladiators, me taking Houston, Ratted and the Epic Army taking Gladiators. Gladiators faced off against 2 lowly teams last week, while Houston took down Boston and 4-0'd London. I think Houston looks way better for this game, but that's just my opinion apparently. And kicking off Thursday, we have London facing off against San Francisco Shock. And this should go the way of, you guessed it, London. That's if our voters are correct anyway, since we all picked London. If we look a little bit at the past though, I don't think it will be quite the cakewalk we all expected. Time will tell, but this London team isn't looking very good lately. The middle match on Thursday will have Gladiators taking on Florida. And again, we all picked the same team, which was the Gladiators. Everyone expects Florida to continue to struggle for the remainder of the season, especially me. Hopefully they can rework their team in between seasons and get back on track for Season 2. And closing up our Thursday will be Philadelphia taking on Shanghai in what should be yet another epic match. Yeah, right. As I just said with Florida, I think Shanghai really needs to regroup at the end of the season and retool, maybe from the ground up, including coaches. I'm not quite sure. I think though that they need to really dig deep into the Chinese players and find an all Chinese roster to help with the communication. Funny enough though, one of you Epic Army voters actually picked Shanghai. Whew, good luck with that. And kicking off our Friday will in fact actually be possibly an epic match, as we see the Valiant taking on Boston. Everyone, however, picks Boston to win again, and yes, I love it. And right now, Boston holds on to a 2-win lead in the overall standings, below them is a three-way tie of London, Valiant, and Philly. This is a must-win week for Boston as they look to keep their season playoff hopes alive. Boston is also looking to rebound from a really poor week 1 showing. Oh, and I got my eye on the voter that picked the Valiant. I will find you. Next up, we see New York taking on Seoul. The total vote shows everyone picking New York, but we do have that one Epic Army voter who keeps screwing with us, and he has picked Seoul. Or she, I'm sorry. I think at this point, it's possible that New York is okay throwing a game or two, but more likely we will see them throw the first couple maps and then come back and pull out a win, and good old-fashioned like New York always has been. New York is just way too good. What else can I say? And finishing up Friday, we have San Francisco Shock taking on Houston, and again, we have all picked Houston, except that one asshole Epic Army voter. Who is this guy that keeps bucking the damn trend? Looking at this game about a month ago, you might consider it to be pretty close. However, Houston recently seems like a new team in this new meta, if week 1 is to be believed. I look for Jake to keep shining on his DPS role. And on to Saturday, we will see Seoul taking on London. And actually, I think this could be a close game since both teams are currently struggling heavy. However, everyone but that one weirdo took London to win. However, just because that one voted that way, the Epic Army still voted for London, in case you're wondering. I swear this is the last time he's throwing a wrench into our little voting system here. Anyway, I look for this game to go to 5, but I see London getting the slight edge considering Seoul just lost to San Francisco Shock. Next up is another snoozer. And at this point, this game isn't even really worth watching, as Shanghai takes on New York. Even that guy that keeps picking the opposite of everybody else actually picked New York here. Do I need to say more? Shanghai, the worst team in the league, facing New York, the undisputed best team in the league. And closing out week 2 with another doozy, we have Dallas taking on Philly. I almost feel like this will be another snoozer unless Dallas has some new fang-dangled, I don't know what, to show off. They certainly didn't do that during their Gladiator match last week. And Philly is better than the Gladiators, so if you do the math, Philly's going to win. And yeah, we all picked Philly. Alright team, thanks for checking out this week. I know it's not too exciting since, we all pick the same games all the time. But I do have that one shot to gain to tie it up, I guess. Anyway, as always, thanks for checking out this video. Next week, we will drop power rankings again, I promise. And there will be more weekly picks coming your way as we continue to move towards the end of Season 1 of the Overwatch League. As always, guys, throw some comments below. Let us know how we're doing. And hit that like button. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button to show us some support. Thanks, everyone. Have a good week, and get good scrubs.
If you like our coverage of the Overwatch League, let us know by liking and subscribing. And if you didn't, let us know why in the comments below. Maybe we can make it better. Thanks for watching, everyone.